Academy of Art University's Urban Nights update is next. Coming up, the latest medical report on MVP Steph Curry.
More details coming out about Prince and some of the secret projects he had right here in the Bay Area.
A look at 420 in San Francisco. You can relive it or witness it for the first time.
And what people think about a new face on the $20 bill. All that and more coming up on Urban Nights Update. Station. Hi there. Thanks for joining Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update. I'm Garrett Bradley, and Toyosi Onuru is joining me tonight. Here's what's happening. The Golden State Warriors will be without their reigning MVP, Stephen Curry, for at least 2 weeks. During Sunday's win over the Houston Rockets, Curry suffered a grade 1 MCL sprain in his right knee. As it stands, now the NBA's leading scorer will be absent for a portion of the Golden State's second round series. If the team eliminates the Rockets, round 2 of the playoffs will bring together a challenge with either Los Angeles Clippers or the Portland Trail Blazers.
New information coming out regarding the death of musician Prince. According to a report via Fox News, Prince had a secret and very expensive drug addiction. The report says Prince's former drug dealer revealed that the superstar was hooked on powerful opiates for over 25 years and would spend up to $40,000 at once for 6 months' supplies of Dilaudid and fentanyl, which are strong painkillers. The legend's death is still causing ripples around the world. For more on the man and the impact he's made, we join Jacoby Barragan.
Prince Rogers Nelson was an American singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist and an actor. He was an innovator and known for his flamboyant stage presence, extravagant dress and makeup, and he was bringing a brand new fierce style to music. His music spans a wide variety of styles including funk, rock, R&B, soul, and pop. He has sold over 100 million records worldwide, making him one of the best-selling artists of all time. He had won 7 Grammy Awards, a Golden Globe Award, and an Academy Award. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004. Rolling Stones ranked Prince at number 27 on its list of 100 greatest artists of all time. Prince made an impact in the music industry. Artists such as Lady Gaga, Beyoncé, The Weeknd, and Pharrell Williams. Justin Timberlake made a tribute on his Instagram page saying, "Prince is somewhere within every song I've written." The list goes on with inspired artists like Miguel, Alicia Keys, Andre 3000, and Frank Ocean, who is often referred to as the new Prince by several publications. But it's not just musicians who tip their hats to the legendary musician. Several locations around the world paid respects, raining the purple light of Prince. Some places like Montreal, Canada, Minneapolis, National Harbor, Baltimore, and City Hall of San Francisco. On April 21, 2016, at 9:43 a.m., the Carver County Sheriff's Office received a 911 phone call requesting that an ambulance be sent to Prince's home at Paisley Park. He was 57 years old, and his remains were cremated. Their location will be private.
2, 1. Prince made a home in the heart of millions who listened to his music, but this wasn't the only way that the singer was changing lives. It was only after his death that the truth behind his philanthropy was discovered. Using his resources for the better of humanity was a huge part of the singer's life and probably his best-kept secret. 2 of his biggest philanthropic endeavors included providing solar panels for the city of Oakland and helping children of color learn to code. For most, his music will be missed, but for those who benefited from his generosity, his absence will be felt for a lifetime. Prince's Academy Award-winning movie, Purple Rain, will be playing at movie theaters across America. AMC, the nation's largest theater chain, is teaming up with Warner Brothers to screen Purple Rain in 87 locations through Wednesday, April 27th. To find out which theaters will be revealing this classic, go to amctheaters.com.
The bill is in. The tab for San Francisco's 420 event is $25,000. Thousands of people descended on Hippie Hill on 420 at Golden Gate Park last week, as they do every year. Cannabis enthusiasts from all over the country gather for a festival celebrating pot. And again, the city of San Francisco was left with a huge mess. 11 tons of garbage were collected from Golden Gate Park after the crowd left. Our own Dante Burney went to check out the 420 experience at Hippie Hill and files this first-hand report.
Man, I'm headed to Hippie Hill today. Today I'm just expecting to see a lot of, people freelance and having a good time, smoking a lot of cannabis, of course, and maybe we can get some edibles on the way.
Every year they try to have a festival from San Francisco all the way to New York, Woodstock, to have that one day where we can all appreciate the fact that we have a natural herb plant.
Each year, marijuana smokers gather at Hippie Hill to celebrate a substance which in many parts of the U.S. is classified as a Schedule I drug, according to the FDA.
Let them see that though, look, the truth. Ooh.
Smoking weed like this is very illegal where I'm from. And you come here, where you're surrounded by 100,000 people just like you smoking that.
You would never see this in the Midwest at all. I just got off the plane. It was so funny. It was like there's two ladies making out and a rainbow bus in front of me and a person smoking a joint at the airport. And I was like, this is pretty much what I expect in San Francisco.
There are not enough government forces, I feel like, to really do much about this. They can close it all down. But there's going to be a lot of trouble with that. Where are the people going to go?
I've been out here about 3 times. This is my 3rd time being in Hippie Hill. Every time the same thing, man. A lot of people, a lot of beautiful people. It's real diverse.
They were targeting minority groups back in the early 1900s, and it's just something that sort of stuck with us. And in the 70s with Nixon, he came on and he wanted to demonize the hippies, demonize the anti-war people. And what I think is true now is the more you are exposed to these different ways of thinking with these substances, then you are anti-war.
In San Francisco, California, this has been Dante Burney with an Urban Night Update.
The crowd was largely peaceful, although there were some moments of intensity, panic after the reports of a man carrying a gun. Although there were clearly many people at the event, only 8 arrests were made.
Weed and athletes. Many athletes smoke weed, whether you know it or not. Josh Gordon, Johnny Manziel, Josh Howard, Nate Diaz, and more have been caught with weed. The question is, should they be punished for it? Kaniva Bakari offers his opinion.
I dislike athletes who smoke weed. I feel if you work your whole life to be this elite athlete, you shouldn't do it, especially when you can be suspended for it, costing your team your great play and costing you money. Josh Gordon has been suspended not once, not twice, but 3 times for smoking weed. Josh Gordon was becoming one of the best receivers in the NFL, setting records in receiving yards in back-to-back seasons and making the Pro Bowl. But the 25-year-old couldn't stop smoking one thing: weed. If you have a huge contract to play the game you love and all you have to do is put down a drug, why can't you do it? Maybe you just don't love the game. Maybe your love is towards something else. At least that's my opinion.
Thanks, Ken. An investigation still underway in Ohio that seems to be related to marijuana. 8 family members killed in a pre-planned execution at 4 rural residents in southern Ohio. Investigators found 3 marijuana grow operations at the residence and say that it was much bigger than just for personal use. Officials say it was a very sophisticated operation. The victims ranged in age from 16 to 44, were all shot in the head while sleeping at 4 separate residences. 2 young children were spared. Investigators are piecing together evidence and have at least 5 search warrants issued. A powerful drug, W18, is hitting the streets of Edmonton, Canada. The police announced a big seizure made back in December and reported 4 kilograms were taken. Epidemiologists at Nova Southeastern University in Florida say this drug is very deadly. But it's not only in Canada that's facing the drug effects. W18 is slowly making its way into the States. A drug dealer in Florida was convicted of importing about 2.5 pounds of the drug, and authorities warned that's just the beginning of its infiltration in the U.S.
The suicide rate is increasing for Americans ages 10 through 74. That's according to the National Center for Health. It reports that the overall suicide rate rose 24% from 1999 to 2014 after it went down 15 years ago. An increase was seen in every age group except those over 75. The rate was middle-aged women has jumped from 63% to 80%, and the rate for middle-aged men pushed up to 43%. No word on what's causing the numbers to go up. A pregnant woman in San Francisco tests positive for the Zika after taking a trip to Central America. She is San Francisco's second case of the Zika infection since the virus began spreading. That there is no cure for Zika or the birth defect it can cause. The woman will closely monitored through her pregnancy.
The face of the $20 bill is going to change. I asked people what they thought about the new 20. So what do you think about Harriet Tubman being featured on the new $20 bill?
I mean, I think it's cool. I guess it's like a nice gesture, you know. I mean, I feel like it may have been a little disrespectful to take Andrew Jackson off of it, but I mean, maybe they should have gave her like her own bill, you know. She could have had like her own, maybe like $30 bill or $60 bill or $200 bill, you know. We deserve something like that.
So they could have created a new bill, like a 25, or, you know, because the guy they took off, Andrew Jackson, is a good dude, so I'm sure he did good stuff, so why did he deserve to be taken off? So you're gonna create all types of friction.
That's pretty offensive, if you ask me. I mean, $20 bill, like I've even heard the $2 bill, like come on, like at least the 50, you know, like 20, like that's, come on, that's a little off.
I think it's awesome, but I had no idea it was happening, so that makes it even more awesome, I guess. I think they should absolutely do it, for sure.
It's kind of crazy. I don't know if I feel good or whatever about it, but I don't know, it's surprising.
It's okay with me, as long as the 20's still worth 20. It's all good with me.
I like it.
I think it's cool. It's weird that Andrew Jackson's going to be on the other side of it, who was a slave owner, but props to Harriet Tubman and progression with money and all that. I think it's cool.
Affordability is an ongoing issue in the high-priced Bay Area. The movement of the middle-class people into low-income neighborhoods is profoundly and rapidly reshaping our urban core. I went to find out more. Statistics report since the 2000s there has been a 47% increase on rent in the Oakland area due to gentrification. Locals in North Oakland had much to say on the topic. A local of 22 years, Tania Scott Smith, is completely opposed to gentrification.
Young people are coming in with no respect for the neighborhoods, no respect for the established culture of those communities that they're coming into. They're not coming in to be a part of those communities. They're not coming in to be unified with those communities. They're not bringing in the diversity that would unify those communities, but instead they are coming in to make a quick buck off the ignorance of others who don't respect their heritage. They're coming in making a quick buck with no respect for the ancestors that have sweat, toiled, bled, and some even died to have what they had. Gentrification is a sin.
Although gentrification is a hot topic in many areas, such as the areas in Emeryville, those that live in the house behind us have more of a positive outlook on it. This beautiful house is owned by the Mosleys, a white Latin American couple, and we got to talk to them about their ideas on gentrification.
Okay, well, I'm Scott. This is my wife, Gabby, our son, Luca, and Sienna. I guess by some people's standards, we're gentrifiers. We were the third white couple or second white couple on the block third. It's got to change. Business has got to come here. People with different thoughts need to come here. For us, gentrification is a little bit odd because, look, there's certain things that, at least I think that if you want the old Oakland of the past, you're going to get murder rates, and if you don't want to change anything, you're going to keep those, you know. At the time when we moved in, it was the highest murder rates in the U.S. Now I think it's third behind Chicago and Detroit. So
somewhere you see what other people don't see. And there's a lot of potential. And potential means change, and change is very hard.
For more information on gentrification, log on to the urbannightsupdate.com. I'm Toyosi Oniru with your Urban Nights Update. The median value of a home in Oakland is currently at $600,000, and the median value to rent is at $2,900, a close second behind San Francisco, which is at $3,400.
Secret documents about the 9/11 attacks and Saudi Arabia's involvement may have been released by the White House soon. These documents might shed some light on the joint congressional inquiry into specific sources of foreign support. Officials say that documents point suspicion at the Saudis. Others who have read the documents say they might want to see them declassified. The 18 pages in question were part of the official report, but have been held back until now. Building on President Obama's goal of making tuition at community colleges free, the White House is pledging $100 million to expand workforce training programs. Vice President Biden and his wife, Jill, announced the grant program Monday at the Community College of Philadelphia. Ted Cruz and John Kasich are teaming up to stop Donald Trump from getting the Republican presidential nomination. Their aim is to stop Trump from gaining the 1,237 delegates necessary to claim the GOP nomination this summer. Cruz and Kasich released the statements late Sunday saying they will divide their efforts in upcoming contests. Cruz will focus on Indiana and Kasich will focus on Oregon and New Mexico.
Joining me today, I have Brandon Bland, a political consultant here in the Bay Area. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So let's jump right into it. Tell me how you got into political consulting.
Well, it wasn't something that I started off by trade. I was just a people person, per se. But my brother was a poli-sci major and decided to get into running some political campaigns. And so I did a lot of his voter outreach and fielding, doing tables, and reaching out to people.
So did you study anything to do with politics?
No, not at all. To start off, it was just something, like I said, that I like to do, just to be able to connect to people. And I was excited about having a chance to affect some type of change in my area.
Okay, so what kind of things have you worked on in your career so far?
Okay, probably the most exciting, and it's probably going to sound weird, but I worked with a group called Compassion and Choices to pass the legal aid in dying bill here in California. No, it may sound like assisted suicide, but it's not that. It's actually giving autonomy to people in their last days and them being able to make their decisions on how they go out. So I think it was something very powerful about being able to let Californians be able to make their choice on whether they live or die or when they live or die.
Okay. And what kind of advice can you give for people who want to get into this field?
Well, I mean, here in the Bay, it's very easy, actually. This is probably the hottest political climated place here in the area or in the country. So I think being able to go to any of your Democratic clubs that you have in the area and just being able to connect and meet in. There are a lot of things on Meetup that are in the area, as well as just getting on some websites. I wound up doing job searching through things like Jobs That Are Left, philanthropy.org, different things of that nature are geared more to find field organizers and people that have a mind for changing the world.
So within the political world, is your title literally political consultant, or is there like smaller little sectors within political consulting?
Yeah, so political consultant really just means that I don't necessarily have a boss. Normally when you're inside of a campaign, you get titles like field organizer, campaign director. So it really just speaks more to your skills and what you like to do. I more often have been called a field organizer because I put together a lot of outreach plans and just figure out how to grassroots correctively meet the public and be out in the public's eye so that they can trust our candidate or our cause.
So, final question, Bernie versus Trump. What are your thoughts?
You got to feel the burn. I'm definitely an advocate of Bernie just because he's a grassroots political guy. He's been at a lot of places that I've tabled that just representing the struggle, and so I think anybody that represents the people is who we should have as president.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us.
No
that
problem.
was an Overnight Update interview.
BART is still trying to figure out what caused a big surprise last week. Friday afternoon, a brand new BART train derailed during testing along the test rails between Union City and South Hayward stations. It happened just before 2 p.m. The train was only traveling 5 to 10 miles per hour during the testing. BART was training operators on new train at the time of the crash and has not identified the cause of the crash. Thankfully, no one was hurt during that accident. That new car cost $2 million. Delays and detours have become a big issue for BART riders. I went out to find out what passengers think and how BART is responding. Bay Area Rapid Transit has been having some issues lately, and BART riders are not very happy about it. Karthik Pantini is a regular commuter from Fremont and shares his feelings about BART as of lately.
Kind of upset with BART service lately. It's been terrible. Closures and shutdowns everywhere. 30-minute, 60-minute delays. Costs a lot to get over here every day. Takes me from Fremont to Civic Center about 45 minutes to an hour.
Not only is the service bad, but prices have also gone up.
The service hasn't been matched at all with the fare raise. You would think with more money going in, they'd be able to step up their service at least a little bit, but it's still constantly delayed. It's just gotten worse. There's been no improvement at all.
Now we've heard from BART riders what the holdup is and what it is that's bothering them. Let's hear from BART what it is that's going on and what's being done to solve the problem.
Delays are part of our regularly scheduled maintenance where we are replacing parts of the track. A large percentage of BART's original infrastructure, including the rail itself, was only built to last about 40 years, and so now we're at the point where we're doing these regularly scheduled rebuilding this large segments of the track.
So, are these renovations what's causing the fare to go up?
Since 2003, we have fares go up every 2 years at a rate below inflation, and all those fare increases go towards our big projects like a new train control system, our new maintenance complex, and new train cars. So fare increases fare increases all go to capital improvements, and they've been in place for several years now, and we're pretty happy with the way that we do that because it's predictable, it's below the rate of inflation, it's manageable for people so that they don't get hit with big fare increases.
It sounds like BART is hard at work to improve the commute. With your Urban Nights update, I'm Garrett Bradley. Expect to pay around 19 cents more per ride by 2020.
Over the weekend, Barry Bonds returned to his old home with a different uniform, that of the Miami Marlins as hitting coach. The home run king returned to the AT&T Park, hoping to get a warm welcome. Well, he most definitely did. The crowd chanted, "Barry, Barry," and roared as he made his way to deliver the lineup cards. Filled with joy, Bonds kept it classy with a simple tip of his cap, acknowledging the crowd's love. The NFL loses another player. As Ron Brace dies at age 29, Ron was drafted by the New England Patriots in the second round of the 2009 NFL draft as a defensive end. The cause of his death has yet to be released. With more on sports, let's join Jacoby Barrigan.
Basketball fans across the country are glued to the playoff games this weekend to see who advances to round 2. As of Monday, hopes are high with the Warriors finish off the Houston Rockets in Game 5 at Oracle Arena. Golden State will have to play the way they did the second half of the game after Game 4 after Stephen Curry's injury in order for the Rockets to begin their vacation. In lighter news, off the court, Curry has made a new friend. Barcelona's forward, Lionel Messi, reached 30 million followers on Instagram. In December, in the honoring of such a huge number of followers, Curry sent him a Golden State Warriors jersey. Messi, in return, agreed that when Curry reached 10 million, he would send one of his own jerseys. Well, it's now 4 months later and Curry has reached 10 million followers. Messi has kept his word and has sent Curry his jersey. Messi is currently standing at 40 million followers, forcing Curry to ante up. Ex-Liverpool striker Djibril Cissé just booked himself a new gig after not making it as a fashion designer. With summer soccer right around the corner, rumors have been circulating whether or not Eden Hazard will stay with Chelsea. He has indeed confirmed that even with injuries from the past season, he likes where he is right now, Soccer fans are not the only ones who's worrying about what team their favorite athletes will be representing this upcoming season. That's right, the NFL Draft Week is here. The draft will take place in Chicago's Auditorium Theater. Round 1 will air Thursday, April 28th. Rounds 2 and 3 will be on Friday 29th, and rounds 4 through 7 will be on Saturday, April 30th on ET, ESPN, and the NFL Network. I know we're all excited for a great start on this season. And speaking of starting strong at the end of a good note, John Bone Jones took UFC 197. Even though it came down to a judge's decision, John carried strong throughout the entire fight, and the decision was unanimous. He scored 157 B strikes, compared to his opponent, St. Preux, who only had 56. No wonder why he is considered the best weight in his class. If you're following the new UFC Fight House, auditions are still being broadcast and teams will be picked very soon. That's all for sports. See you back next time.
Thanks, Jacoby. Taylor Swift has a prom invite from a Special Olympian. Anthony Rodella, a 17-year-old student from San Marino High School, made a YouTube video asking the pop star on a date. He is one of her biggest fans, naming songs like Wildest Dream, Bad Blood, and Shake It Off. Taylor hasn't responded yet, but we are pulling for you. Taylor, please help this young man's dream come true. According to Match.com, guys who mention Shakespeare get more dates online. Guys who mention the writer increase their chances of female response by 27%. The survey was done for the 400th anniversary of the Shakespeare. Kalamazoo, Michigan mentioned him with the most, while San Francisco didn't make the Shakespearean list, but we rank 5th on their most literary cities.
A group of young people are trying to get broader exposure for up-and-coming musicians. They call themselves the Culture by Collectives. They are a group of college students who had started a promotional business to get musicians to new fans. Our reporter, Kaniva Bakari, has a story.
Company called Culture by Collectives, which is kind of a company that we're marketing up-and-coming artists, including musical artists, to kind of give them that platform to start performing and getting a good fan base. So we're creating different events for not only music artists, but fashion designers, stylists. So we're working with big companies like Complex Magazine, Apple Music, to give them that platform and to get the exposure that they ultimately need. Seeing as the Bay Area is pretty artistic, we definitely want to be able to drive really, really talented people with the best connections in order for them to strive and succeed. So we're kind of like this marketing company still, but we're still up in the works of what companies we want to work with. So we're just kind of starting off. So this is entitled The Debut, which is going to be our very first showcase. Every 2 or 3 months, we're going to produce a big showcase tour. We'll actually have companies. All Bay Music will be here shortly in about 20 minutes to kind of look at some of the acts here.
In San Francisco, this is Kevin Bakari with your Urban Night.
For more information on the performance at Hard Rock Cafe, go to hardrock.com.
A lot is going on in the entertainment world. Here's Dante Burney with your weekly update.
Hi, welcome to this week's latest entertainment. There's a lot of great movies this week with some big names on the list. The first movie is called The Boss. This film is about a lady who gets sent to prison after she is busted for insider trading. Her goal is to make a return as an industry sweetheart, but everyone is not so quick to forgive her for screwing them over. The lead roles in this movie are played by Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Bell, Kathy Bates, Tyler Labine, and Peter Dinklage. This should have one very interesting ending. Also raising much speculation this week is the release of Beyonce's video and album, Lemonade. In her spoken word performance she released on Saturday, Beyonce's lyrics spoke of relationships, infidelity, empowerment, and love in a series of stylized music videos. The internet has been responding, and bloggers state her visual album is something new to the music world. Lemonade is very personal and has references to struggles that many black women face. Some of the moments shared in this epic tale are home movies of her father, her wedding with Jay-Z, and her pregnancy. But the video ended on a happy note, with images of her and the album appeared on Tidal, Jay-Z's streaming service. Beyonce's Lemonade was a worldwide premiere event on HBO, which is owned by Time Warner, and offered a free preview last weekend. If you can't get enough of Ice Cube, then check out his latest DVD, Ride Along, starring Kevin Hart. Ben, played by Ice Cube, must head down to Miami before his wedding to bust a drug dealer who has been supplying the city of Atlanta. But everything goes absolutely wrong. Ben reluctantly brings along his brother-in-law James to help crack the case. Ben and James must convince the authorities that the Pope is a brutal crime boss, and if they fail, there may not be a wedding after all. Looking to relieve some stress? There's a new group in Mountain View called Culling for Grown-Ups, Relieve Stress the Vibrant Way. This group provides a wide selection of coloring sheets and crayons designed for adults to choose from. The event is free and hosted on Wednesdays at the Mountain View Public Library from 6:30 to 8 p.m. If coloring doesn't sound exciting, then try celebrating the Jazz Poetry and Jazz Session every Tuesday this month on the top of the Mark Lounge. At this event, legendary poets play alongside local jazz musicians for a weekly series to celebrate the birth of a beat generation in San Francisco. There is no cover charge for this event, but expect to buy a minimum drink or two. That's it for this week's entertainment. Enjoy yourself.
The film The Green Room is the latest by writer-director Jeremy Saulnier. Our own Matt Cheska found out that Jeremy went back to his teenage years to create this graphic and edge-of-your-seat film. He spoke with both the director and one of the stars, Anton Yelkin.
You're trapped. Things have gone south. It won't end well.
You gotta let us go. We're not keeping you. You're just staying.
Shoot who's left. Let him bleed.
Get ready to run. Here we go.
How did you come up with the storyline?
I actually had been thinking about this scenario for a long time. I was in the punk rock and hardcore scene for quite some time, but back in the 1990s, pretty much, one of the most vibrant periods of the hardcore scene. So I just thought about what's the worst thing that could happen at a show.
So most of the film takes place in this punk rock venue in a secluded place in Oregon. Now you also built the venue from scratch.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to do this?
So when I write, I see, and the shape of the club became very particular. Now, when we actually got the budget and the green light, we were looking for the venue that we needed, and we just couldn't find it. Nothing laid out correctly, and we finally bit the bullet and said, we have to build this from scratch to serve the script. So if we built the spec, then I had all these scenes previously blocked out in my mind. I knew where everything had to go, so I was very comfortable. And so after the initial feelings of guilt, having the whole crew of carpenters and set builders construct an entire concert venue on a soundstage, I realized okay, that's why we do this. So to serve the script, to serve the story, and make it easier for me to not quite seamlessly, but to really translate my vision in a way that my pre-visualization was actualized.
And I just want to squeeze one last question for you, Anton. Did you find it challenging ever, just shooting so many scenes for long periods of time just in the same room?
Oh yeah, it's definitely exhausting. I mean, it's not exhausting so much physically as it is morally and mentally. It breaks you down, but I think that's what's happening to the characters. We're just doing it over the course of 30 days as opposed to 16 hours, But it's essential to the feeling of this film, at least for the actors, I think, because there were days where I look around and be like, I can't listen to these guys screaming and crying anymore. I'm going to lose my mind. And then we'd roll, and that's the exact feeling that I would take into whatever we were doing. It's what they're feeling. They're feeling this kind of madness, at some point.
I want you to follow.
Yes, I am. I don't know. There's been a stabbing. Whoa! God damn it!
You didn't lock the door.
You didn't lock the door. No, don't talk and don't touch them. Stay put. It's fine.
The Green Room is now playing in theaters, so check it out.
And that's it for this edition of the Urban Nights Update. I'm Garrett Bradley.
And I'm Toyosi Oniru. For everyone here, thanks for joining us. See you back next time.